I'm not going to say that I'm freaked out. This is not going to be my Blair Witch tape by any means. That is another broken tree. It's getting dark. And I'm out here kind of by myself. First of all, we've been walking around back here and all these tracks and all this stuff. We haven't seen the first animal.
Oh yeah.
What the hell?
Keep going. Keep it rolling.
Don't make them come over here.
Here we go.
We are Lee and Alicia Ducote.
I'm an author and novelist who likes to write romance and adventure.
And I am an outdoor adventuress who loves to drag Lee along with me.
Together, we travel all over the country and search for those off-the-beaten-path adventures that don't cost a fortune, with the hope to inspire others to get out and find their own adventure.
So gear up, grab your backpack, and come go with us as we search for that next crazy adventure.
And maybe find a little romance along the way.
Lee contacted fellow author Lyle Blackburn and asked if he would be interested in taking us on a field investigation of the Fouke monster. Lyle has written several books on Bigfoot and other monsters of our country. Where do you meet a Bigfoot hunter and author? The Monster Mart, of course. Hey, Lyle!
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
Hi, Alicia.
Hey Lyle, I'm Lee.
Hey, Lee. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thanks for meeting with us here, man.
You bet.
This is
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, this is ground zero. This is where you start when you come to Fouke. You go to the Monster Mart. So over the years, people show up here at the Monster Mart. There wasn't much to see, so Denny Roberts and I have tried to put together as much as we can to give some visuals, some of the history, and something for people to look at. So here's a lot of the original newspaper articles or articles that have happened since then.
Lyle wowed us with the wealth of knowledge he had learned over the years of researching this area, taking us through historical pictures, showing us local artifacts, and explaining in detail how the Fouke monster came into existence.
We're heading out to jump on the river with a local that's going to take us out and take us up to some of the sightings and some of the areas. And Lyle is going to meet us out there.
We drove through the backwoods of Fouke, Arkansas, crossing cattle gaps, dodging cow manure, and trying to stay out of the way of the local farmer loading his hay. We ended up on the Peavy Ranch with Phil Peavy, a local that grew up with the story of the Fouke monster literally in his backyard.
All right, we're nothing like chasing Bigfoot riding in the back of a pickup truck.
That's right. This is the life. I can remember riding in the back of my dad's pickup truck back in the day, and we were in the back, and he's up front drinking a beer, and there was a gun hanging in the rack, and this was kind of in the suburbs. I mean, that was you'd be arrested for that now.
Where is he taking us? Phil drove us to the back of his place and to the Sulphur River just south of the area that the Fouke monster was most reportedly seen. Well, I forgot my beef jerky, but I guess I'm just gonna wing it. We climbed into Phil's bass boat and headed north on the river. With recent rains, the river was nearing flood stage. But just like Lyle had told us at the Monster Mart, the scenery was incredible. The Sulphur River flows 175 miles through northeast Texas and southwest Arkansas before dumping into the Red River just north of Louisiana. The river is a natural habitat for wildlife, recreation fishing, and of course feeds into the famous Buggy Creek, the home for the Fouke monster, aka the Buggy Creek monster. Over several decades, locals have reported the monster traveling from Mercer Bayou to Buggy Creek.
We are out near Mercer Bayou. We're walking from Sulphur River to there. This has been one of the more active areas of where they see the Fouke monster on both sides of the Sulphur River. We're going to be across the river from where they filmed the movie Buggy Creek.
We're off the path, but we're definitely in the area where, if something like this exists out here, it would probably move around.
Sasquatch needs to be more considerate and put his foot out by the highway.
I'm not going to say the word diva because I'll get in trouble.
Mercer Bayou is a waterway that has not been disturbed by man, and it is a picturesque backdrop of cypress trees and Spanish moss.
It wouldn't be out of the ordinary to see some kind of a strange unknown creature. And if you have the Fouke monster in the back of your head, in the back of your mind as you go around, you kind of wonder if something's watching you out here.
And with the thoughts of someone or something watching us, I asked Lyle what encounters he has had.
So it was about 3 years ago, a friend of mine and I were down here and we were canoeing in Mercer Bayou late one night. It was a little after midnight, I think, and all of a sudden we're going along. We hear this kind of a howl come up, and it was probably maybe 150 yards off. It was a pretty good ways off. And when you're going, the ambient noise is loud because there's these frogs going, the insects, you're kind of paddling in the water. So as soon as we heard it, we kind of stopped and tried to be still. And everything kind of went silent at that moment in the woods, and the hair stood up on the back of my neck. And I looked at him and I said, "Dude, I don't think that was a coyote. What was that?" And then that was it. It was gone. And to this day, I can't say what it was we heard. I can't say that was one of the creatures, but it remains unidentified. And between the two of us, we felt like, well, it was a possible close encounter, and it had followed us down the bayou and perhaps gave us a warning. I don't know, but it was spooky, real spooky.
That's awesome.
And you'll hear me come up in the boat.
Okay.
And then I'll come up in the boat, and if I don't see you, I'll grab your case and come out here with you.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think I see a skull over there. That's a skull.
Wow. Good eye.
Man, that's a nice...
Yeah, sure enough. Look at that. That is unbelievable.
That is crazy.
Wow. It's odd. It's really odd how it's just sitting here upright, jaws aligned.
Because usually, and there's no other bones.
A few teeth, but yeah, that's probably the best hog skull I've ever seen. Most of them are kind of decayed.
Ha!
That's
Look at
awesome.
that. Razorback fans, eat your heart out.
That's real weird why there's no other bones. And it's completely bleached out. Man, it's a badass skull.
All right, so we're coming across some weird stuff now because we're finding bones of animals in a certain area. Like something it's like the kitchen.
We started out with an eerie feeling that we had just disturbed something's eating grounds. Have you ever felt like you were being followed? That was a consensus of the group as we made our half-mile hike back out to the river.
I got it. Got it now, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm a muddy mess. I meet up with bugs. And this is absolutely awesome. Once we started back up the river, Lyle received a call that there had been a recent sighting just a few miles from where we were. One of the locals asked us to meet back up at the Monster Mart. So we dodged more cow patties, a couple of dogs, and headed back to the Monster Mart to meet Rick Roberts. Rick is the brother of Denny Roberts, who happens to own the Monster Mart. We drove south of Falk to the intersection of Highway 71 and the Sulphur River.
A lot of it's washed out already because of the rain the other day, but this is what was the tracks right here. He was walking more on his heel. Down there was the last spot we got. We tried to make a plaster cast out of that, but it wouldn't set up. I can show you a little bit more.
Keep going.
We took another plaster cast right here. It didn't turn out too well either. But his foot was actually about a foot long. There's bigger tracks back down this way.
We were in amazement with the amount of tracks along the bank and found one set that seemed to stand out amongst the rest.
Could you see this one more clearly, like toes?
I think so, because if he's going that direction, I mean, you can see where theoretically big toe.
Yeah, the toes were on that end.
I mean, Bigfoot tracks are typically starting, this would be not the biggest, but a decent size, kind of a starting point in terms of what you see.
That's crazy.
I found some tracks that are coming up the hill. Look like something went down the hill, so now they're backtracking the trail I found. What the heck? Lee spotted a tree that was broke off at the top and just looked out of place.
They say that they mark their territory. The males mark their territory by bending or breaking a tree. So,
Ain't no person do this.
Yeah, that it's not dead.
Still got growth on it.
Which,
No, I mean, if I had to guess, I'd just say it was lightning. That's pretty interesting.
yeah. Well, if y'all want to, we can go down further and see if there's another landing on the river. If it is, it might be some fresh tracks.
Sure. Yeah, we got plenty of daylight. So we followed another set of tracks, and you can look down the bank right here, and you can kind of see it coming through here. I know there's footprints over it, but these tracks turn and go right out to the river right there.
Lyle decided to get a cast of the tracks that Rick had found. So with a bucket of plaster, they made their way back down to the banks of the Sulphur River. Lyle is fixing to attempt to do a plaster cast of this footprint. It takes about an hour for the plaster to set up, and during this time, Rick entertained us with some of the numerous stories from the locals.
Got Alicia in the back, Michael, cameraman, sitting here over on the passenger side, and we're following Lyle. And Michael keeps saying we don't have phone service, so there's something sketchy already. And the pavement is starting to change. This could be our last adventure.
All right, so the fellas are getting all geared up. I got my night vision scope, and we're about to go traipsing through the woods in the middle of the night, in the middle of deep southern Arkansas, to go see if we can rustle up a monster, or better known as the Buggy Creek Monster. We started down a gravel road that led into more of a hike to get back into the bottoms of good old southern Arkansas. With the stride of soldiers, Lee and Lyle took off, leaving our cameraman and myself to keep up.
There's some of these encounters that are really spooky. I mean, especially when you get down here at night, you can feel the ambiance of all of it. There was one where there was a hog hunter who, they were sitting up one evening out here listening to some hogs squealing and rooting around, and they just heard something. I guess it attacked them, attacked those hogs, and they heard all kinds of squealing, and the next day they found the manes of the hogs, and they found some big footprints, and they never quite saw whatever did it, but they naturally assumed it was the creature.
Equipped with our night vision scopes and headlamps, we continue to search the area for traces. Lyle explained that many people throughout the country have reported loud knocking noises and have related them back to Bigfoot. Lyle demonstrated the sounds that locals have reported over the years. The most reported is 3 loud knocks.
Difference between that and maybe a tree cracking or breaking, that's a definite. If you heard something like that, you know, you give a pause or wonder.
After several hours of searching and a full moon leading our path, we concluded our night. The following morning, we met Lyle at the Mercer Bayou boat launch and a place that many hunters and fishermen have had encounters. Before saying our goodbyes, we looked at the cast of our print from the day before. So this is the cast that Lyle made of the footprint that we found, golly, not too far off the highway.
Well, I mean, of course, the way the toes had pushed up the dirt, you know, it doesn't appear in the cast, and unfortunately, you know, we were a week, they'd been there a week and it had rained on them, so a lot of the detail was washed away, but it's worth trying to cast anyway.
I tell you, we didn't expect to come here and find recent sightings of Bigfoot, and we especially didn't expect to come here and actually find prints and get a cast off of it.
Let alone all the other evidence that we found, the skull and what you said, the trees bent over. It's so fun to imagine it.
I don't know, once you get in the middle of it and you see evidence, it's kind of hard to dismiss some of it.
Oh yeah.
Lyle, thank you so much. We can't say thank you enough for taking us out, sharing things like this, sharing your stories, other people's stories. We wish you the best of luck. Great author, he's written many books. Go to Amazon, look him up on his website, see where he is, and go listen to him on some of his seminars because he has some great stories.
It's been super fun. Thanks for having me, and I enjoyed it, and good luck on your future adventures.
We're leaving you in the woods.
That's okay, because I want to do some looking around down here. This is one of my favorite places, so.
So we had a very intense 24 hours with Lyle
No
up
sleep.
here looking for #team no sleep.
Sorry.
Up here looking for evidence, and we found a ton of things. The footprint, the shells, the skull.
Trees broken over.
Just a lot of things.
A lot
But
of
we got-
unexplained things
Yeah.
that we couldn't explain.
So we grabbed our gear, headed up to the Monster Mart, run into a film crew from New Hampshire. So we decided to team up, come back out here together. So at least we have company. That's the deer right there that he was tracking. Hey, come here. That's that same toe indention. I mean, you can kind of see here and there. I'm convinced that there's more tracks but it's gonna be too hard to find them under all this underbrush and where all these hogs have rooted up the forest floor. So I'm gonna go back up on the ridge where I think he came down tracking that deer before he took it into the Sulphur River with him. I know that they've forecasted some storms to be heading our way. Maybe this is just the quiet before the storm.
Another trait of Bigfoot is the red, glowing eyes. And I wanted to ask our new friends from New Hampshire what they knew.
With a lot of the sort of sightings, there tends to be people reporting red or orangish eyes, and that is a little unusual. I mean, red eyes are not really something corresponding with eye shine normally. I mean, you see deer or gators, it's usually like a greenish yellow. So a bright red without a source of light shining would be even stranger. And I've heard that countless times in various Bigfoot encounters, that people will just see glowing red eyes in the woods. Usually you need a source of light to shine on, and that's when you'll actually spot an animal, because they have sort of the ability to reflect that light, which lets them see in very low light conditions. That's like similar to what a low light camera would do, reflect the light essentially. But the red eyes, that wouldn't really make sense biologically, but people report it.
Oh yeah.
What the hell?
Keep going. Keep it rolling.
Don't make them come over here.
That is a lot of coyotes.
We pushed through the night searching for other signs, but came up short, except for the pack of coyotes that ran through the group.
All right, we've had a good night and a good trip.
Yeah.
And it's a great adventure.
It is really fun to have an imagination and think there's something out there. There's something out there besides us.